Welcome to the Black Script Storytellers. My name is Kevin Marable, and today our special guest is an actor, writer, director, producer. Um, he's had a film that has been number one on Tubi, as well as many other projects. He's from Houston, Texas. Today we have with us Trey Williams. Trey, how are you
Yes.
doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great, man. I'm excited to be here. I love what y'all are doing, so I had to make sure I be on the platform and be a guest. This is amazing.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And thank you so much for joining. We truly appreciate that you taking time out of your busy schedule and busy day to speak with us. And I have a few questions that I would love to ask you as it pertains to your projects. But before we go there, I like to start off every interview with a very simple question, but some might find it a little difficult to answer. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right. That question is, who is Trey Williams?
Trey Williams is a father first, father of two sons, an award-winning filmmaker, writer, director, and producer, and an actor that's had a up and down journey, but definitely a filmmaker that has a passion for creating original stories and creating partnerships along the way with good people.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to get into that journey that you say is up and down. And if you may, I would love if you could share some of those stories and some of that insight because it helps the next generation or other up and coming filmmakers, writers, directors, producers who might be in the same shoes as you or on the same journey, kind of understand what it takes to get into this business. So as you said, you're an actor, writer, director, producer, and you got into acting while you were playing sports in college. What made you want to pursue acting at that time?
Well, for me, it started with me really wanting to do modeling. I always tell this joke. I wanted to be the next Tyson Beckford, a print model, and so I moved to Atlanta to go to Clark
Okay.
Atlanta for Clark Atlanta. And then after being there for about a month, a semester, I just got burnt out of playing sports, and so I ended up going to this modeling and acting meeting.
Mm.
And I walked in, a guy named Robert Creighton. He said, "Hey man, you an actor?" I was like, "Nah, but I tried. How much they paying?" I was just joking. And so he gave me a script, gave me a few directions, and when he came back, I did it in front of everybody, and I killed it. He was like, "See." And from that moment on, I was in a house full of different people, and one of the guys in the house is JJ Green. He was an actor right now as well. He was in Greenleaf and different things like that. And then he showed me a little bit of the ropes on the
Okay.
casting sites, how to do all those different little things. And it just took off from there. I mean, my first role thing I ever got was being Mary Jane. I made it to the finals for a role. That's with no acting courses, no nothing. And so that showed me that I had something in this that I never thought I had before.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure it kind of threw you for a tailspin a little bit because you did not know that this is the path that you were going to take, and things just started to pan out for you.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. I always say this is why I say this was meant for me to be. No matter how many times I have up and downs, I realized that I just always remember how I got into it, and I realized this is a journey that like found me. I didn't go searching for it. This is one of those things where you just got to be able to
Right.
deal with it through the downtimes. But I know for a fact I'm on my journey and my purpose, just based on you hear throughout the conversation on things that's happened along the way.
Right. And so, as far as acting goes, you've had the privilege to be in some major Hollywood projects such as Survivor's Remorse, Tyler Perry's If Loving You Is Wrong, Time Toys, Hunting the Legend 2, No Regrets, and many more. And you have also acted alongside some of Hollywood's heavy hitters.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? Diving headfirst into the acting business.
Well, I think I'm gonna reverse back a little bit. So I think before I started doing submitting for the roles, I stayed for a few months after that initial meeting that I told you about. I started researching the entire business of it. So when I got into it, I knew how much agents
Okay.
percentage was supposed to be. I understood the business, much of the business as I could before I started submitting for roles. And so that's been the my segue into that. It was cool. It was more. Nerve wracking than anything, honestly, because you get on set. I'm not before I even did extra work. I got onto the set and I'm looking at it's like 50 people on set. You have wardrobe, you have this, and you also have to do all of these things in front of all these people, and you really can't afford to mess up because time is money. You realize that as soon as you get on set and before they call action, you pay attention to everything, and it's almost was a surreal feeling to me. Like, how did I even get here? Because it's
Right.
different playing college sports. I kind of try to put myself as a point guard playing in college with having crowds, big crowds. I try to use that, put that in perspective with the acting because at first I used to be very shy. And so when I got on set and I did my first role, I
Mm.
was like, this is so, but what I did was I tricked my mind. So, but the experience, you don't want to mess up. I'm gonna be honest with you. You don't want to be the person that's having saying, cut, now pick up. No, that's not right. You don't want to be the person that gets like safer in trouble in front of all these big actors. And if you're there, you've already done the work to be there and you deserve to be there because you've done, you've auditioned, you've done the steps. And so it was more of a confidence thing for me. I had to develop
Right.
confidence. Because remember, I did this before I ever took any acting classes. So this was like, all this was like, am I supposed
Yeah.
to be here? Like, it was a wild experience, but
Right.
it was great. But great experience.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that it was an awesome experience, and there's a lot of shock at the same time, and you're soaking everything in and watching these projects come to life, and you're a part of that, and you're in the same room with all of these amazing people, and the crew and everything, and you're seeing it all come to life. Um,
And then,
was that Were those the moments that made you want to get more into the writing and directing and producing aspect of it as well?
well, no, that came later on in my journey within the last, that happened once the strikes happened. See, when I lived in LA, I wrote a little bit, but I used to always bring on other writers. And then once they realized it was a good show, they start trying to overdo their job and start wanting to own piece of my content. And that's what made me say, you know what? This writing can't be that hard. I mean, I've been acting for a while now. I know how to break down scripts. Let me just try it. And then I realized in college I used to always get perfect scores in
Yeah.
my writing, but it wasn't movies. And I was like, man, this can't be that hard. Let me figure it out. And so I took my experience from acting into the writing.
Yeah.
So that's how I translated into doing that. And it helps me because when I'm directing and producing, I know what to look for with these characters because acting, I know exactly the tools that the actor has. I can see from the first 10 minutes of speaking to somebody if they fit the role or not, based on my acting experience. So they definitely play hand in hand with each other.
Wow. Yeah. So initially you really got a crash course, so to speak, from the
Definitely.
acting side of things to begin to know what it is, to as it pertains to writing down, to writing a script, writing a screenplay. From the actor standpoint, you're able to break down the screenplay and understand, what your role is and how you're supposed to act and how everything is supposed to read and how you're supposed to play that out. And you were able to apply those that knowledge into your writing. What I guess the question is, what really made you want to write your own stories?
For one, I wanted to employ more of my friends because at the time we were all having, as you know, when you're an actor, man, you're going to audition so much. At one point, I was auditioning 3 times a day. It was just like, bro, we got to figure out a way to get the proper footage in order to get in the rooms that we want to get into. So let's create our own content.
Right.
And the first show I ever did
Mm,
was called Autographs. Is I did in LA, and it had some of your biggest people
mhm.
you wouldn't even believe. It's their first project that they all were part of. And if I told you some of the names, you would probably be like, "Wow!" And if I sent y'all the Instagram to go check it out, you'd be like, "This is so true." Like I'll just name a drop because my friend, my good friend Woody McClain, he plays Kane. He also played Bobby Brown.
Yes.
I met him in my acting class. The first day I met him, I was like, "Bro, I'm working on this show. I think he would be amazing." And this is the time
Wow.
when he was still dancing for Chris Brown. He couldn't really get the audition. He couldn't film like he really wanted to. And so I put him as a lead. I executive
Mm,
produced it. I directed it. I executive produced it. I wrote it and I was the lead actor in it, and I also financed it as well. So if you look back, I mean, that was his first ever series, but it never came out because something big happened. Right when something happened, it pushed us out filming for 2 weeks, and he booked Bobby Brown in the midst within those 2 weeks, and his life drastically changed. So it's been cool stories
wow.
along the way like that that I
Very
can go
nice.
all day about. That I've been able to be in a room with some amazing people before they got to where they are right now. and be a part of that story and that journey.
Okay. Okay. So I guess let's backtrack just a little bit, because it seems like a pivotal point in your timeline is when you went to LA,
Yeah.
um, and you were doing all of these, you were doing, you were getting a lot of these acting gigs while you were in LA. But what caused you to leave LA, and either come to Houston, or where did you go after you left LA?
I went to Dallas for 3 years, and then I was going back and forth just for work specifically. But this is also around the time when the pandemic happened. That's when I left, which is when a lot of people left because the work slowed down, all the stuff stopped.
Okay.
And LA, is if you live in LA, you know it's very expensive.
Hmm.
So it's like there's no work going on there. I might as well. I had to make a transition. That was something that was normal for everybody because everything went remote, and so I went where it
Right.
was more affordable.
Right.
That's what led me back to Texas. And then while I was down here, I ended up doing. My friend invited me. He told me you should come try to do stuff in Houston, bro. Like it's not a film place, but we can like make it with everything you learn and that you know.
Mhm.
I think you can pull it off because you know how to lead and stuff like that. And that's how I ended up doing the
Yeah.
Armstrong and the Bloody Nickel series, different things like that in Houston in my neighborhood. So that's what got me to back to Texas. Just the pandemic.
Right. Right. And at that point, that's when you started to pursue during the pandemic. That's when you started to pursue, screenwriting, directing,
Yes.
and producing, and trying your hand at it, and seeing what you could do to make things take off. Um,
Yes.
Now, as far as the directing and the producing, well, even with the writing, everything's self-taught, learned based off experience, or did you have some folks around you that could kind of help, train you up?
Well,
How did you come to the point to where you were?
yeah. Well, I always
I'm
use,
sorry, go ahead.
every skill set that I have, it came from somewhere, and I always want to reflect back to the acting because I learned so much on set by paying attention. I work with different races of directors. I've seen how set's supposed to
Mhm.
run. I've seen the highest productions, how everything is ran from crafty all the way on down. So I use all that stuff from acting on set to my journey. My journey into directing, writing, and producing. So not
Right, right.
necessarily calling the director over the phone,
Okay.
but just directors I've worked with, from commercials to theatrical.
Right. And you were able to pick up on what it is that they do, and kind of emulate that at first until you got your
Yeah,
handle on doing it yourself.
yeah, I watch a lot. I'm
Okay.
very
All right.
observant.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way. As I'm more of a visual learner, and you put me in a location, I'll pick it apart, all visually, and I'll figure out how it's done, and I can 9 times out of 10 I can recreate it.
Yeah,
So I'm imagining you're probably the same way.
yeah. You know what's also so
Yeah.
crazy? I
What's
think it's
that?
lacking. I think it was lacking a little bit. So sometimes when I'm cutting you off, I'm not hearing your voice until I start talking. So excuse me for that. And I was gonna say the cool
Oh,
thing. This
gotcha.
go back a little bit when you asked me a question earlier. Like some of the reasons, the experiences that I've got from working with these bigger names is that I actually, honestly, I took extra roles to get in front of these people. I humble myself and say, you know what, I've been booking roles. Let me just see if I can get in front of this person. So I took a lot of extra roles, and when I got there, and they realized I knew most of the cast or some of the cast, and they would just pay attention to me. I got upgraded every time. That's how I got the Tyler Perry gig, also the No Regrets gig with Brian White, Sharon Leal, all those amazing people. And
Wow.
because I took extra roles, I humble myself. I say, they don't know who I am, but I'm going to get. If I get on set, and I would always go dressed like I'm part of the cast. On those bigger productions, most of the extras will go and they sit in the
Right.
back. Me, I come dressed. I come dressed like I'm a part of the actor
Hmm.
because I've been already booking roles, but they just don't know me. So I'm like, let me just get in front of those guys. And I got upgraded every time. Even the one I did with David Arquette, Food Truck on Comedy Central. I started off as an extra on that, but I got upgraded. So
Wow. So
just
what do
being.
you mean by an up?
Oh, upgrade means where if you are extra on set, usually you can't interact with the actual main characters. But if you stand out to them, they'll give you lines on set, which make you be a part of a principal cast. If you can do the lines like, "Hey, we got this idea. You think you can do it?" and they give you lines, and then they upgrade you on set.
Wow. Okay. All right. I was unaware of that term, and also that the fact that they did that. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
very rare, but
Yeah. So that's yeah, you definitely dropped the gem there because that's a key point is, you came on set, you were already prepared, you were dressed as if you were part of the cast, so you stood out a little bit, and you were also very cognizant and aware of what's going on, and you just made your presence known and felt, and they were able to see that and give you that upgrade.
yeah, I was being ready.
Being ready, yeah, absolutely. Um, okay, so you wrote, produced the multi-award winning film Armstrong, which made it to the #1 spot on Tubi as well as many other streaming platforms. Can you
Yes.
talk a little bit about what the film is about?
Oh yeah, of course. So first, I always got to have to get credit for where the idea stemmed from. My friend Jerry, I'm from Houston. We have another friend that grew up with us. His name is Sosa Lulu. He's an artist. It's actually based on a song. So I took a song for like 2 minute song and turned it into a feature. And it's basically about a score
Wow.
about a teenage guy who gets out of jail from doing juvenile life, and he is met with all these decisions. Like he has a lot going on. He doesn't really have anything, and he's stuck making these choices because he's back into the fire. Like he don't really have much, and if he don't go out and get it, it's not going to happen. So in every turn of the film, you see he has these choices. That's what the movie was about for me. Was the that you may be back in this fire, but everything you do is still a choice. You choosing to go down whatever road you're going down, and you have to be
Yeah,
cognizant of the consequences.
yeah. Really great film. I watched it.
Thank
I
you.
was thoroughly impressed. The quality of the film, the music selection, the
Oh,
pacing,
yeah,
of the acting, the actors, the acting ability, and just the overall story was really good. Yeah, it's to me that's probably one of the stronger Tubi movies that I've watched. And
yeah,
I don't watch a whole lot of Tubi films, but yeah, I feel like your project definitely belongs on a
yeah,
on one of the more major platforms. Not to slight anybody who's dropping their project on Tubi, but I felt like yours is a lot more polished and definitely deserves the light and the accolades that it's been getting.
yeah, yeah, man.
What was that process like, creating Armstrong?
Whew, that process was a lot. For one, financing. I knew that we weren't going to have. It was the first movie really in a city that we felt like had a decent budget, which wasn't really not compared to what I'm used to. It wasn't decent, but to the independent world, I knew is more than what most people have to do their movie. So what I did was I just did like maybe 10 jobs. I knew
Mhm.
it was going to be faster and easier for me to do it because I've had the experience in those different layers. And I do every project, no matter what the budget is. If I commit to it, I do everything like I'm used to it. And that's Hollywood style. That's like chemistry reads, from the script revisions. That's me picking the right team, figuring out who works well together. Um, and so that's what that process was like. It was like I do like any other movie that I commit to, and that's part of why the movie came out well. I also picked all the music, so thank you for that. I picked all the music for the film as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Um, just a quick gem. I used to do music, do R&B before I got into acting, so that's just another little gem. But
Okay.
so I picked all the
Oh, yeah,
music.
yeah, yeah. That's dope. That's dope.
And then I also work with all the actors. So I also what I like to do is I like to go sit in at theater. I go sit in and scout talent at comedy shows, theater classes. Like I go. So I found Jalen was through a referral, which is the lead actor. Christian worked with me on one of my. He's played
Mhm.
Sneak with the hair. He worked with me on another project before. He's made some guest appearances on TV shows, so he had the experience. But honestly, that's a lot of the first. Every actor in that film, aside from Jamal and Jazz, well, even Jazz, that was their first movie. And with that strenuous amount of dialogue, and we was able to film that
Really?
movie in 10 days with. So that goes to show you the leadership and the me knowing those little tools and gems to get this movie done. I have to commend everybody a part of it because everybody
Wow.
had a part to play. And I did go into pre-production like
Mm.
2 months before I hired anybody as well. So that was kind of what my process was like.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. No, you definitely did your thing on this project, man.
Oh, and shout out
For
to Lex.
sure. Really good. Who's Lex? Who's
Lex,
Lex?
Lex was my DP. He was the guy that also shot my first ever show in LA with me. My also my ex roommate, Lex Makin. He's an amazing, amazing filmmaker. I flew him in from LA to come shoot that movie with me because I know me and him is like Shaq and Kobe together. So I have to give him his credit because from the lenses, we sat down and picked out how we wanted to look at a film, and he had a big part in that.
Yeah. No, it's really good. Really good. Like I said, like there was nothing dull about it to me. Really, really good storyline, really good acting, and like even the pacing, the chemistry between the main character and his boy Sneak.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, everything was good, man.
yeah, yeah,
I really enjoyed that film.
yeah.
But you also have another project, Bloody Nickel, which is more of a series. Can you talk a
Yes.
little bit about Bloody Nickel?
Blood and Nickel was just the first project that we did in Houston when I first came back to shoot. That's the first thing we did because I wanted to get. I knew that in order to be successful where we in our city, I wanted to get our neighborhood involved where we're from first. So that project didn't go as I
Mm,
liked. It had a little more issues behind the scenes, and it didn't kind of achieve the look that I wanted specifically. But I gave the camera guy an opportunity. Him and his team. It's his first show, and I put some of my friends in it, some of the main
mhm.
characters. It has a lot of positives I like about the show. We got the community involved, so everybody was so proud of the project, and it did very good too. It made like number one in 5 categories on Tubi as well, so it did pretty good as well. And I was proud of for those reasons,
Yeah.
because I got the people involved, like regular people that's normally sitting outside at the store and different places. But that project took a lot out of me to do. I'm gonna be honest, but we accomplished, we finished it.
Yeah. But even still, even if it's not a project that, it didn't come out the way you might have envisioned, it's still, a piece of work that you can show and share. It also allows you to generate some revenue to for future projects and future endeavors.
Yeah,
So I mean, you can also still treat it as a springboard, into launching some of your other projects,
yeah,
and also just to kind of get a feel as to what it is that your audience is going to like, and then start to tailor stories around that. You can kind of pull in some of that data, based upon who likes it, why they like it, and what things worked within that project, and then just kind of continue that on and make it stronger.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's not all was lost. Yeah, not all was lost there. I'm sure you were still able to make some money and get
yeah.
some attention there, and it worked out.
We did, and everybody's asking for more episodes. So we may have some stuff maybe coming. It's the first time I'm speaking on a platform, but we have more episodes coming. And as you noticed,
Okay.
all the problems I had on Blood and Nickel, I fixed on Armstrong. So I had no issues with Armstrong. So I did learn some things in the city on what direction I needed to go. So it was still
Right.
a good learning curve when it comes to where to find talent and things like that in production.
Right. Right. Yeah, you were able to fine tune what you might have missed out on Bloody Nickel within
Yeah,
Armstrong, because I thought that was done excellent. There's no there's no story gaps, no nothing.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so you also have a production company, and your production company is called Pioneers Collective Entertainment. Um,
Yes.
can you talk a little bit about your production company?
Yes, well, I always got to go into how I even came up with the name. I went to church one time in Atlanta, and the pastor was talking about how pioneers and settlers would never mix. Pioneers are always searching for greatness, and settlers are always content. And so when we launched the company, I
Mm,
wanted to take on stories and go on journeys with things that what people deem impossible. So I want to take on those harder projects to pull off. Hence, Blood and Nickel, and coming to Houston to try to film. So that was a part of our goal. And we like to create original content. We do everything. We go from development all the way to distribution. We do everything in house. And sometimes I have
wow.
a team called Pen Champs where I have a writing division as well, where I take those writers and give them finance, I pay them. And sometimes I either fix up the script
Mm.
or I have them co-write a script with me as well, just to bring on as a team of writers. So we have the Pen Champs as another subsidiary to the Pioneers Collective Entertainment. So that's what we do. Love to create original content.
Oh, that's dope, man. And This is a side question, but I'm curious. Are you guys ever in the business of looking for outside projects to produce?
Yes, we are. The thing is, most times they come to us want us to finance their stuff, and sometimes we're like, we're not in a space to finance all the way right now. But it's later this year we will be able to do it. But if people want to partner, if it's a great script that stands
Mhm.
out to me, then I'm always willing to come in and see how we can help, even if it's not financing. Maybe I provide equipment, maybe I provide other things. So I would love to definitely partner with people. That's a big part of what we do as well. It just depends on how they need us to partner.
Okay, yeah, I love that answer, man, because that's a part of what we're looking to setting out to do with the Black Script is we already received script submissions from screenwriters from all over. Um, some are amateurish, still learning how to navigate as it pertains to screenwriting, and so they're submitting and requesting feedback and things of that nature. But we also have some strong writers who submit as well, and a part of our goal is to be able to get to the point to where we can actually pinpoint the strong scripts, be able to reach out to some of our partners, the production companies, and see if there might be a project that might be interested in taking on. And then we also are looking into potentially tailoring campaigns around specific projects. So, like if you're looking for a holiday film or a rom com or something like that, we can actually put together a campaign to where we actually get screenwriters to submit for that particular campaign, and you guys can go through the scripts and kind of pick one that you like and go ahead and produce it that way.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's part of the plan as to what we're looking to do down the line. But yeah, I like the fact that you do everything in house and that you have your own production company, and you guys are already solid, man. Like these projects that you've put out are good quality.
yeah. Thank you, thank you. I'm very big on quality, and I will say, not if the story, right stories stand out. Financing is not something that we won't do, but I think if it stands out enough to me, because normally I can tell I have a great intuition, then we will most likely put up the money to
Mhm.
do it. Just depends on what budget it takes to do it, especially if it's not a lot of special effects and stuff like that. If it's some drama
Right.
or drama, comedy, something like that, just us bringing up, providing the equipment, we able to get people to come work for a little bit lesser. Plus, a lot of people wants to work with us, so I have a whole network of people to be
Yeah.
able to pull off doing a movie without having a ton of money, but still get the same quality. So I would love to be able to be a part of it and speak to y'all more about that, at a later time whenever y'all deem it necessary or fit. I'm definitely open. I want to collaborate. I want to travel all over the
Yeah.
country and work. To be honest,
Oh man, sounds great. Sounds like a plan to me. Um, now you do have a new project that you're working on called Through All Odds. It's a docu-series.
oh yeah.
Um, are you able to speak on that, or is that still under wraps a little bit?
I can speak on it a little bit. So that's been a project that's kind of been ongoing. I shot 2 episodes of it already. But I will say this: I have some of the biggest
Mm.
Hollywood executives and people that work behind the scenes attached to the project. From Jesse Collins, he's the producer for all the award shows. He's the executive producer for New Edition
Yeah.
movie. I have James Lopez, who's the president of Macro. I have a long list of people. Like so, that show through all odds is basically about giving them their flowers. The people that's behind the scenes that's responsible for making the stars be stars. And so that's why I know they have real
Right.
gems to take to encourage people like us that do film, real stories, on how they got to where they are, how did they get their deals, what was it like when they got their deal, what was something that we don't know about that we should be doing different. It's about real questions, and I follow them around for a day, and I film that after the,
That's
we do
dope.
it.
I like that. And then we really don't get a whole lot of those types of projects, and oftentimes, especially in the Black community,
Exactly.
as it pertains to um, Black content. Um, and occasionally we might get some behind the scenes and kind of get a feel as to what it's like behind the scenes or a day in the life of. But typically we really don't get those, but when we do, we enjoy watching them because it gives us that glimpse to what goes on behind the camera and how these projects come to life. So that's amazing. I would definitely love to tune into that and see what that's like. I know that's going to be
Mhm.
an amazing project.
Yeah, so yeah, it's been ongoing. I really want to get that done. Like I said, with the pandemic happening, then the strikes happening, it's like everything. Every time I get ready to dive back into it, something big happens. I think we're probably past that now. The industry's kind of getting back up and running the
Yeah.
right way. So I'll be looking forward to getting that done within a full quarter of this year. So it'll probably come out next year. But I do have people attached to the
Okay.
project, DPs, all kind of stuff.
Mhm. Yeah. Now you're good friends with Tamra Simmons. How do you know Tamra?
Oh wow. Man, so remember I told you it's crazy. It's a great question. So you remember I told you that I said I come from doing music first, right? So I met Tamara when she was doing producing for like
Yes.
WeTV for growing up hip hop. She was doing things for artists. She was doing music first. And she invited me to this music video, Young Jeezy and Bando Jones. I think it's called There She Go. I met a lot of great people, legendary people that's there to this day. She invited me there
Wow.
first, and we met. This was in 2014, my first year in Atlanta, Georgia. That's the first thing I went to when I got there. She invited me to it from social media. She's like, "Hey, come through a little meet. I'm gonna be here today." She sent me this invite,
Wow.
and then fast forward to all these years later, we end up partnering on doing non-scripted stuff, which I'm pretty sure you're about to ask me about in a second on the project that we're partnering on. Um, and a couple projects we're going to partner with on. We got moved back because of the pandemic, but I'll let you segue into that the questions I know you're getting ready to
Right.
ask me. But that's how I met Tamara. I met her on set from a
Well,
music.
well, well, well not actually not quite because I know Tamara's been working. I know she's got a lot going on behind the scenes, and she's pretty private as far as sharing the details online. So I don't really know the name of the project, but I know she's been working, and she's made some subtle announcements here and there saying that she's got some projects underway and that they're about to come out. Um, I was just curious because Tamara was one of the first people that I met when I first started the Black Script, and she welcomed me in, took a meeting with me, allowed me to speak to some other executives as well. She's a real great, genuine person. I actually met her in person when she came to DC. She used to be in the pageant life as well.
Yes.
And so I went to one of her pageant shows in DC and met her in person. But yeah, she's really cool, really down to earth, and I know she was a part of surviving R. Kelly and the Casey Anthony story, and like you said, she's done some things for WeTV. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was really my only question. Is I was curious to know how well you knew Tamara.
Yeah. We've also partnered on some projects. I wrote, she's a non-scripted giant when it comes to non-scripted projects. And so we were working on a
Yeah.
sex trafficking documentary,
Hmm.
which we interviewed like 30, 35 people from the Obama administration. We talked to so many people, so many stories. And again, the pandemic, moved and pushed everything. So
Wow.
we haven't got back up to pick back up on that. But that, and then we're supposed to do a feature film called Blind Currency, which we're going to pick back up on as well as an action film. I think it'll be
Mhm.
our first scripted film that she'll be a producer on as well. But we behind the scenes, we're working on some stuff together for sure. It's just that the scripted takes a lot longer when we're talking about like $1 million budget projects and the networks and it's just a lot more steps that it takes to get those off the ground. But we
That
do have the
goes into
actors
it.
attached. Yeah, we do have the actors attached. We got everything pretty much ready to go except the financing. So we'll have those things come at a later time. Tammy's a great person, and also another gem. We have the same exact birthday. Yeah,
Really,
yeah, same exact birthday. So
man, that's crazy.
yeah,
When's the birthday? What's the birthday?
June 10th, June 10th, June 10th.
June 10th.
Yes,
Oh, so it's coming up, man.
yeah, coming up.
Yeah. Happy early birthday.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. That's dope. That is dope. So, and you've already kind of alluded to this, but if you have any other projects that you're working on or anything else that you would like to speak on, my next question is, what's next for Trey Williams?
What's next for me is that I'm trying to get Armstrong. I'm in the pitching phase right now. I got a film. I'll just say it because it's already been announced. But I've been working on. We had a couple of deals on the table for this TT Goes Undercover film, which is another movie me and Tam. It's a franchise that I wrote that I brought Tamra on board for as well. And we had deals on the table, but then when the strike happened, everything kind of fizzled away. So now I'm back pitching that franchise to a couple networks. We got some good traction, so that'll be coming in later on this year if we get the financing for that. Armstrong 2 we should be shooting late July, early August. Everybody thought that movie was gonna end like that. That's a franchise
Hmm.
as well, so that's coming. More episodes of Bloody Nickel. What else?
Wow.
And that's almost I could talk about right now. But there's some other things in development. I got like
Right.
30 ready to go. To be honest
Okay.
with
I'll definitely keep 30.
you. Yeah, I sat
Man.
down for like
Yeah.
a
No,
year.
you're staying busy.
Yeah, yeah. Now I'm talking about for just me as a company. I wrote these projects so I can be ready, so I could take time just to go pitch them. But I'm ready to go at all times. To be honest.
Yeah. Now, as far as the projects that you're saying that you want to go and pitch, they're already written
Yeah.
and in the can, or are these more so ideas that you're going to be pitching to networks and studios?
No, everything is already done, and it has stars attached to them. It has everything, the steps, everything already done, except just the final yes on the financing. Once those deals fall through, you got to continue to push. You can't really, which it actually worked out, which will benefit us, and we work together as well. And I'll tell you off interview why it's great. What I'm working on right now, as far as dealing with a private equity firm, they're looking to finance a lot of things independently for me as a company. So that actually is a good thing if the deals fell through because this is a way bigger scenario than it would have been in going to another company to partner. They would have gave me a minimal amount of money and control. And so I'm kind of thankful everything happened the way that it did.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. Well, Trey, that's pretty much the questions that I had for you. I like to end the interview with the final word and give my guest the final word, whether that be a piece of advice, words of encouragement, or a quote that you like to live by. You can say all three, or you can choose one of the three. It's up to you.
Yeah, I'll say just something encouraging. This is also I need to hear this for myself. Is that this journey is going to really test you. It's going to break you down and rebuild you. You're going to lose. It's going to feel like you lost everything along the way. But when you come out of the storm, you're going to have everything you need. Don't stop. Keep going no matter what. Your story only matters if you continue to push and you make it to your goal, whatever that goal is for you. Success is determined what you determine your success to be. Don't let anybody tear you from what you got, no matter what's going wrong, man. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Don't stop, no matter what.
Yeah, man. Keep going. Don't stop. Keep pushing. Keep the faith at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Trey. I truly appreciate your time, your knowledge, your expertise. Thank you for sharing, your journey and some of the things you have going on. I'm definitely going to keep my eye out for all of the projects that you have, lining up. And yeah, this is going to be an exciting time for you. I'm sure. You're already well on your way, man. There's not much I got to say there.
Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm excited to work with y'all too. So hopefully we get to work together some point this year, man. It'd be great. I'm ready to go.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. We're gonna talk here in just a minute, so don't go nowhere.
Okay.
All right, but Trey Williams, everybody.
Thank y'all. Thank you.